Hi, Anna.
Nice and warm. Your phones, great invention. Yeah, so I'd like to welcome everyone to the regular meeting of the Board of Selectmen in chilly Cornwall. First thing, we have approval of minutes. There. We have a message. We have three. We have three. Okay, the 19th of December, the 2nd of January, the 4th of January. So moved.
I don't know how adamant we want to be, but I think
Yeah.
spelling in January 2nd. It just says.
Which one?
Uh,
January 2nd?
January, in a minute.
For January 2nd?
Yeah, give me a second, number 5. Waste, West Cornwall wastewater management.
Okay.
It just, it's in the, and it's just kind of twisted up. I
Okay,
don't know how.
that's fine. It's good to correct where we can. So then is that, we'll make a motion to approve those as corrected. Second. Any discussion? Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Jen, for being thorough. All those in favor? Aye. Communications and announcements. So you have one, we set up a meeting of the Freedom of Information Commission to do a training session for municipal officials, because especially in our technological age, it's really important that we stay up to speed, up to date with that. And so I think Jane has set that up for the 29th of February, leap day, 10 o'clock at the town hall, and we'll decide where we're gonna have it. We may do it Zoom, we may do it here, so we definitely will record it, because we understand that that's not the ideal time for everyone, and it would be good to have a recording of presentation. The people that present are very good, and we'll give a chance for people that aren't here to either see it in recorded version or zoom in.
So people will be here to talk to us?
Yes,
Okay, cool.
yeah.
Tom, is he gonna come?
No, I don't know if he may have retired.
No.
Yeah, there's a new, yeah, there's somebody else now that's the
Public.
director over there. Yeah.
Okay. Tom was wonderful.
I know, he's
Yeah.
great.
So, yeah, it's good to have that ahead of time, and we should tell Tom, Barrett about that, put that in the Chronicle, because it's not just for town officials, it's for citizens, for people to know what the laws are. They're very important laws that ensure that, the public's business is done in public eye, and there is the ability to have access to public records and to have access to the decision-making process So it's something that State Connect takes seriously, and we do too here, so, with all our new, town officials, it's important to understand or, get all those, the procedures down, and also some of the, changes that, especially, like a Zoom meeting, what are the requirements for that? Recordings and things and posts, so, yeah. So, anyway, that's exciting. Any other communications or announcements?
I've got a couple, Jen might have.
Okay,
As well. Let's see, the Cornwall Web Committee is gonna be hosting a live presentation at the Cornwall Library, Sunday the 21st at 11 a.m. We're gonna provide an overview of the Cornwall website, answer any questions and get feedback throughout the process, so should be a good
Can I
event.
record it?
It's gonna be an in-person event, we'll probably likely record it, I'd imagine. So it should be good and be a great time. We're gonna give kind of an overview of the website, go through navigating it. Again, to try to get more feedback to improve it, and so looking forward to that. I've also continued to work with our building administrator, Russ, in building the new page for the building department.
okay,
So we've recently updated the building permit application form to a more modern, fillable PDF version of it. Made some enhancements there, and we continue to add some new items to the page, so we're making some progress there, which is great, and it'll be a good resource for contractors and citizens to kind of know the process, have all of the forms in a more modernized format. So we're excited about that, and we continue to make progress there.
great. Jennifer?
The only announcement I have is park and rec stuff. Ice skating Saturdays from 7 to 8.
How's that
Yes.
going? Is that, did
I
you?
was not able to attend this
Yeah.
past Saturday, so I don't
Okay,
know.
Saturday, yeah,
And I don't know if any of my commission members went, but I can reach out to them.
great,
Pickleball is on Thursday from 6 to 8. We've had about 15 to 16 the past 2 weeks.
nice,
Saw some great pictures, though. It looks like it's been a good tournament.
And we had Jessie Bate come last Thursday, and she did some teaching of how to play pickleball, which was awesome. Tomorrow at the parish house from 3 to 4 o'clock, we're gonna have our afternoon social. And then next Tuesday is our park and rec community breakfast at 9 o'clock at the parish house.
great. Yeah, so speaking of breakfast, just like to congratulate the people at the Cornwall Market for getting open and having a very successful first week. We wish them well and appreciate their efforts to provide food to Cornwall community and our visitors. So that was a milestone, getting that back up. The couple times I went in, nice flow of people from other towns and from Cornwall checking it out, and everybody was very pleased with what they found there. So congratulations, get that back up and running. So
I saw there was a video on Facebook of one of the employees making chocolate.
yeah,
It was kind of neat.
it's pretty easy what they've got out there as far as the chocolate things, so. Great, in addition to the agenda, any additions? Yeah, we have plenty here, so anyway, let's get right into it. Item number 1 is Essex Hill, Popple Swamp, West Cornwall storm repairs. Talked to Craig Bothrud this morning on scheduling our projects, and he is scheduling to start on Essex Hill next week, probably even on Monday. So he's gonna mobilize for that. The weather is gonna be really tough this week, but then it's supposed to warm up next week, so he's gonna get right into it next week probably. And we went down and looked, and the town will provide some of the material to put the bank back together. So that's exciting to get that piece going, and our town crew has been delivering boulders down to Popple Swamp bridge to get that ready to go, so I would anticipate we would get that underway also, so trying to put it back together, some of the storm damage. So that's exciting to get those two locations hopefully underway next week. West Cornwall is gonna take longer. Craig wants the water level to go down because it's just gonna make it harder to work in that site. And we wanna give him the best time to do it, so it's as quickly as possible. And as well as possible, he is stockpiling all his materials. So he said if we do get a big storm and it, it collapses, he's ready to come right in an emergency repair basis. And he said it's not April, he gets busier, and now he's just gonna, wait for good time to get this done before April would be our goal, as it seems like it's held up surprisingly well during the last couple. Storm, so we're gonna look to try to see if the water goes down either because of lack of rain or because of it's cold or. Yeah, the water jet is, we're having ice problems all over town and the crew's out pushing the ice back and we're getting. The water table is definitely up. So anyway, so it's great to have a contractor. It's easy to work with. And we will publicize that well in advance, but now it's looking like the west. So we're starting with Essex Hill and Popswamp. The West Cornwall project, which is a bigger project, looks like it'll be a February-March event. Now, based on the weather and the hydrology and what's going on in Millbrook. So, but Craig is ready, getting the precast units ready to go to West Cornwall. Governors, so anything else on the storm stuff? Seem like we've got everything lined up, we got all our permits and approvals, and we will have to eventually pay for all this, so I can work with Barbara this coming week to try to get you and the Board of Finance a report on how much extra this will be. I did see that today's paper, there was a thing that the state of FEMA emergency has been declared for parts of Connecticut because of the last flood, especially down in London where they lost a dam. So we've got to see whether we're eligible for that for any of this. But we still are going to have unbudgeted amounts to pay for out of our reserves. So we'll get a handle on that before we start our budget process. The governor's visit was very, the governor came to visit Mohawk Mountain ski area last Thursday. The board attended the meeting. We had a very good meeting with him, and a lot of the DEP officials were there. And the governor's team announced a outdoor recreation initiative to try to get more use and utilization of the state parks. They have seen a big increase in the utilization of state parks since before the pandemic, but they want to do more, and as they do not have as many DEP employees as they used to, they're looking to partner with some businesses like Mohawk or Clark Outdoors or whoever to optimize outdoor recreation in some of the state facilities. So they have some money to promote outdoor businesses, which is a good
thing
good
for us,
idea.
we've got a lot of outdoor things.
We do, and I think what's also interesting about that too was to hear they have a whole coalition of people, not just hiking enthusiasts, but people that sell like all the gear to go outside. So they're really pushing outdoor recreation, not just for you standard hikers, but to get more kids, especially from the cities who don't get to get out as much into the state parks and programs. So everybody in Connecticut can enjoy that. They're also looking to do programs so that if there is a place like Mohawk, can put on their website, which has millions of hits every year. They will say, if you're going to Mohawk, you can stay here, or you can eat here, or you can go to this other thing. If you're going to if you're hiking on the trail, you can also go to shop or a canoe rental, whatever. So they're trying to tie all this together, which I thought was a really nice initiative, and it was, I did not join the governor actually, but I was impressed by his determination and the fact that he's going out, so. It was good. Any comments, any thoughts?
I thought it was great to meet him and
Yeah.
other people there.
And he was,
Yeah,
it
I
was,
think he was very impressed with our town and finding out that it was the first place the snow making machine was created and.
right, yeah, I think he always likes to know that Connecticut has invented a lot of things.
Yeah.
And now when he meets the governor of Vermont, he, well, you know, snowmaking was actually invented out in Connecticut.
My state, yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, he was pleased to meet Carol and make Mohawk happen. And we wish them a good season. It's been challenging with the weather and everything. But, anyway, it was a nice time. Solar electric project. I sent the board a outline today of what I had last week with Doug Rich from the Sharon Energy Environmental Group and the woman name I forget. Emily from the Connecticut Green Bank. And we talked about solar projects, we talked about what's going on in Sharon, some of our other nearby municipalities as far as doing large scale solar installations in their town to help control the cost of electricity, provide more renewable energy for the state. And the state has put through recently a lot of legislation that will make this much more favorable for towns to do this and apparently allow us to aggregate all our bills into one project. And then we get a favorable rate meeting that energy demand if we use solar or other renewable energy stuff. So they have a lot of these projects. We're at the early stage, but they found that Cornwall would qualify for this, and we can work with our other towns, benefit from their experience. We may look at putting this either at consolidated school or at the transfer station landfill. Apparently they do extra points, extra bonuses if this is cited at a landfill. So we'll see. We're early.
Something that can be done at both places?
It could be, but it probably makes sense because of all the technology to.
Oh, just to have one.
But the thing is, the procedure is that we compile our electric bills, which we've done most of that, and then they do an analysis. They start looking at our potential sites, and they'll come out here actually for a site visit.
Okay.
And based on you know, what they see, what they find, that will determine the siting a bit. But the potential is also there to tie in the West Cornwall project, so that would help cut the cost of operating that plant if we can offset it with some solar stuff. And again, that would be a pretty steady use of power. The school is our major consumer at this time. But that is more, that sort of sees not much power use there in the summer. So anyway, we haven't signed anything. We haven't signed on the dotted line. But the Green Bank would in fact finance all the construction, and we would sign up as a customer, so we would not have to put any money towards it. We just get the savings by capping our rates or even having a reduction in our electric rates, which I think with all our other expenditures, it's nice to know there is a program where we can have savings without having to do the install, and then they work with contractors that are certified to all these systems and whatever else, because we don't really want to own a big power plant, I don't think. But
So if we
else.
find that there's an issue, then they'll.
Yeah, and again, it's not a third party working with us. It does a bunch of these as sort of a nonprofit organization, because then they can go to bat if we do have issues, installation or the maintenance or whatever else we have to do, so they can help guide us. But thanks to Doug, who actually grew up in West Cornwall, and I was on the street there one day, and he said, "What are you doing in Cornwall?" That's what we're doing in Sharon. I said, we get together, but again, good to have assistance from other towns and state trying to push this forward. I did read in today's paper that Connecticut is ambitious. They're looking to go all renewable fuel by 2040, which isn't that far away. I know they've just brought online some big wind turbines offshore. But that's still, I think there's 3 or 4 states that are that aggressive in their energy plans: Vermont, New York, maybe Michigan, California maybe. So anyway, we hope to participate in all that.
Yeah, it seems like we really hit the tipping point when some of these municipal solar projects, especially in terms of the financing options, as you mentioned, that are available, some of the incentives. And I think definitely there could be potential cost savings significant for the town. And it does provide a sustainable path forward for towns like Cornwall. So I think it's win-win, and we should continue to advocate and pursue it for it.
Yeah, and apparently they do a specification for us, and then they auction twice a year in February and in August to see who wants to participate in these auctions. So we're not gonna be ready for February, but again, these happen twice a year and will happen for the foreseeable future. So hopefully we'll be lined up for August. So, and again, Sharon washing her head over, so that's, in a way, that's a good thing.
Okay, they can start paving the way.
They can take the way. Well. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, so that was interesting. Storm preparedness, again, we are looking at some pretty tough cold weather out there, some ice conditions. And so we have put out storm notifications to the people in town to help them prepare for this when we hear about storms. We'll do that. We will also talk about this a little bit in item number 9. Housing Commission meetings and appointments. We have scheduled the first meeting of the new Cornwall Housing Corporation or Commission for the 5 o'clock on the 22nd. I haven't quite decided whether, I think it's going to be in Zoom. We'll be on Zoom.
January 22nd, you said?
January 22nd, 5 o'clock. So we'll put that up on the website, the details on that. We'll get the meeting notice out. One thing I did come across as we were sending out all the congratulations to everybody we appointed in our lab. I realized that we appointed 6 Democrats to the Housing Commission, and we can only appoint 5 members of one party. So I did talk to Mag Cooley, who said she would be glad to step aside. She plans on attending anyway. So I would make a motion to rescind the appointment of Margaret Cooley to the Housing Commission. Second. Any discussion? We appreciate Mag's input, and sorry for that. So we did get a notice or a letter of interest from Oscar Anderson, who it seems well qualified. He's not a Democrat, and he has interest expressed in, so I would make a motion that we appoint him to the commission.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I think given his qualifications and experience, Conservation Commission, which is kind of the key area that we identified. Yeah, it would be a great fit, so I'm excited.
Okay. So, any more discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you, Oscar. So we look forward to that meeting. West Cornwall wastewater project. We did see on past Friday the end of our public comment period for our environmental assessment. We did one comment which had some questions about the project, which we will respond to. And then our consultant engineer would have to put our response up on the government federal platform. And then once we get that approved by the Department of Housing and Urban Development, that we've our response to our comments, then we will be able to ask them to release funds for the project and allow the committee to start its design phase of the project. So excited about that. So the headline is public comment is finished, respond to the comments, we have to post our response to the comments, and then once we get approval that we've done a good job responding to the comments, we then proceed. It's interesting, we did get one anonymous comment, which is very hard to respond to. And then we did get the housing and urban development. People wanted us to respond or send out a notification to the Friends of Cornwall. That group you may remember from the referendum, but as they have no known address, it's very hard to communicate with a group that we don't know where they are. So the last opportunity for if there are any Friends of Cornwall out there, let us know and we can send you our information. So anyway, we're proceeding with that project.
Do we have an idea how long that might take until we finally do get approved, like another month or so?
I would hope we'd be able to wrap it up in a month. But again, some of that is out of our hands.
Right,
We have
we
to
wait
get,
for the approval.
we have to get all these approvals and
Yeah.
rely on the engineer to put things up on the web. Budget meetings are coming up. I thought of having a special meeting on the 30th of January, so we could talk to the highway department and transfer station service, park and rec, any government departments that want to see us, so we don't have to do it at a regular meeting. We just have a special meeting, would be a public meeting to dig into the budgets a little bit, and we would expect to have information for the board as far as the budget package to you well ahead of that. But as we have sort of a 2-week interval between our next meeting, it's good to have some special meetings, try to get the budget organized. The expectation is that we would get this to the Board of Finance, at least a draft, in early February, so probably second week of February. And we start warming up then with the high school presents their numbers, I believe also in early February. Board of Finance, that work for everybody? That gives these groups a little more time to prepare their stuff and give us time to get it ahead of our meeting, and then have an evening of budget pencil sharpening, and then we would also look at some other things at our regular meeting, the first part of February, and then we, see how we can put it together. We may have a special meeting to finalize things in early February, but
Sounds good, yeah.
that's good.
Budget season's begun.
Budget season's begun. We have a lot of people that are used to putting things together, so I think it should go all right. So we'll put that up on the calendar. Appointments, we did have this from Caroline DeFotis to be on the zoning board of appeals. She did write us a very thorough resume, qualifications. So I make a motion that we appoint her to, I think that's an alternate position on the zoning board of appeals. Second, any discussion?
Good qualifications,
Yeah.
good experience, so sounds good.
Okay, so all those in favor?
No?
Aye. So another meeting coming up, we've scheduled also on the 22nd of January at 7 o'clock. A meeting, emergency management meeting, and as we announced last time, the town emergency plan has been digitized and approved. And so this will be a meeting of our emergency management people, which is mostly Diane. BB Paul here, did run the emergency, website for the last storm. And, that's an interesting thing. It's a way that we can, communicate with the power company and our emergency responders in our highway department. So we get everything, if there's any damages, any outages on what they call a web EOC, Emergency Operations Center. And so everybody can see the information, they can see where the problems are. And again, Diane's had a lot to do with setting that up. So we would have our emergency management people, we have some of our first responders, we'd have Jim there for the highway department. I did invite also our liaison from yours, Tim Waldron, who's stopped in today, is very responsive. He's our go-to person if we start getting overwhelmed with power outages or if there are other municipal power projects with Eversource. He can help us get through, and they usually have a designated liaison, say, not for this type of storm that we just had, but when we had the 12 inches of snow, they contact our office of who's a go-to person. Start getting roads blocked and trees blocking roads and stuff. So again, it's good to get everybody together, be in a non-emergency. And then the second part of the conversation is going to be talking to some of our conservation people that are looking at community resiliency and what we can do as far as planning or looking at our infrastructure to sort of harden our infrastructure in ways that make us more resilient to mostly flooding seems to be the big concern these days. So I am also going to talk to Janelle Mellon, town planner, who did our irrigation stuff, so we should get that out to people in 1 second. So that's coming out less than a week or in, less, so we'll get you some more homework on that, but it's good to just have that one interval of concentration of getting people together. There are some new people at the table, which is nice. And then a lot of times the power company Eversource will have a tabletop action where they're actually do a simulation of a hurricane or a flood or something. And that happens once a year, so the same people get together, how do you respond to this and whatever else. So yeah, so again, you can't always predict what will happen, but at least you can simulate it a little bit. So again, it's important that we get all that going. So exciting, trying to pack a lot of stuff in before we get into our budget stuff. So I think that will be good on the 22nd, next Monday will be a busy day, but productive day. And then, then another news item. We did take ownership of a new, to us, but used highway truck from the town of Harlington. It's at the town garage now, it just needs 2 new tires, but it did come with a snowplow and has actually on-spot change, which our other trucks don't have. So it's actually pretty slick. So our newest highway member, Dave, is excited about driving it. It is orange, so you will see no orange Cornwall roads. We won't tend to paint it, but there will be an orange truck plow on Cornwall roads in the near future. And just as if we get some punishing storms, everything held together pretty well. But it's good to have these reserve trucks if something has a problem, so we just jump it on a fresh horse, as they say. So
Where did you say we got it from?
it's the town of Harwinton,
Oh,
and they cycle out their trucks. I think on a 10-year cycle, which is we don't, and we're very grateful to them. They have very good keys.
nice.
See, it's well maintained. It's got,
Good.
it looks like it's ready to go. So anyway, we're grateful to them. I will call up my friends in Harwinton. Planning and zoning. Let's see, our chair is here. They're having an important meeting on January 23rd, Tuesday night. I believe it's 7 PM. That will be posted on the website. I believe it will be in person and hybrid, right, Anna? No, just in person, hybrid, what is it?
It'll be Zoom only.
Zoom only, okay. So this, and I don't wanna speak out of turn, but I've been to these before, and this is a really good meeting, and again, just to get into one of the more important town documents, which is the town plan of conservation development, and which was last put together every 10 years with a lengthy process, and there are various aspects to it, and those aspects will be reviewed by the Planning and Zoning Commission, and then the agencies such as the Board of Selectmen, who do have certain tasks under that plan to do. We will say what we've done and what we haven't done. I think there's 75 tasks that are laid out, which is very ambitious. But I would urge everybody to go to the website, look under town regulations and documents, find of 2020, the town of plan of conservation development. And we will have a good discussion about what the plan envisioned and what steps have been taken. Of course, the plan was made before the pandemic, so there are certain things that you can't plan for, and there have been certain things that have happened here that the pandemic has accelerated, perhaps, like the price of housing, and also the school enrollment has gone up, so there have been impacts. There are still but again, a lot of the underlying needs of the town were anticipated and continue to this day. So we will have a good champion discussion, and we'll believe there will be an opportunity for people to have comments or whatever, but it's interesting to see what our roadmap. Yes, Anna.
I just want to mention that those task assignments were not going to be the focus of our meeting. The focus of the meeting will be hearing from different organizations in what way they have contributed to the goals in the town plan. Part of the town plan process, besides setting goals, was also coming up with ideas, strategies on how to meet the goals. And some of those strategies were assigned as tasks to different groups in town, but all should be contributing to the goals in the town plan of conservation and development. So that's going to be the question.
Okay, how are we contributing?
Yeah.
All right. So we have a week to come up with a really good answer to that, but hopefully I think we have done some things, like the housing commission is in line with what's to be doing, so we haven't been idle. Great. All right, so we'll see you all there. Composting municipal solid waste. Speaking of town plans and things, part of one of the nice things about having the state come to town last week was I had a chance to meet the commissioner of protection for the first time, Katie Dykes, very good speaker, very animated public official, and Morton was there, our hardworking representative who had previously taken it upon herself to have a good tour of our transfer with our workers there and lay out our efforts to get a compost going. It was interesting because from Mohawk, or from her car on the way back to Hartford, she also was moving into the meeting of the Council of Governments for Northwest Connecticut, encouraging them to increase their diversion of food waste and things out of green. So when I told her we were hitting had a few bumps on our valiant efforts to recycle food waste, and she was all ears, to the point that I got a email that afternoon from one of her assistants on intergovernment relations department to talk, and we're gonna talk later this week on, again, not blaming anybody for our lack of progress, but trying to move things forward. And she was very understanding that we are in the small towns have a very different reality than the suburban or urban towns where leaf collection has been a thing for years. Whereas here it's not necessarily part of the culture. So again, we have efforts, and what I'm thinking of doing in cooperation, Ted Will, is inviting the DEP to come out to our newly remodeled transfer station and see our program and what we'd like to do. And it's gonna be snowy, but you can still see the basic outline of our landfill and our good attempts to take a lot of things out of the waste stream. Whether that happens or not, I think it's a good invitation, I'm sure. In fact, they called back 3 hours of our conversation, shows that we had a little bit of a nerve. You saw us good, we wanna move forward. And my feeling is the thing at Mohawk was like sort of government at its best, because you had state officials interacting with local officials, and then you also had local businesses that contribute to the local economy, but also the whole local culture. Kids growing up to ski here is a huge thing. So again, taking on that positive cooperative spirit more than we're gonna, say somebody gets their job or whatever else we could say if we were of a different idea. But again, everybody's got their own responsibilities, and I think the state is trying to push for this, but our reality here may be a lot different than it is in Ridgefield or North Haven or other places. So again, we're going to open up this line of communication. As we know, we've heard again from our friends in other towns that are interested in doing some sort of small scale diversion program. Commissioner also appreciated our goal of trying to keep all this stuff in town and recycle it onto our gardens and fields, as opposed to trucking it away and then trucking it back is part of our whole thing. So again, I think a big breakthrough there. And it will be interesting to see whether we can get some people here, and we will make the offer. If we have to do something more formal, then my informal drawings on maps to get something through the permitting process, we're happy to do that with a real engineer as opposed to invitation. But again, we will be extending that invitation to try to get something there going. One of my questions will be if they have a compost expert, is what can we use as an alternative to leaves, because I'm not sure we have enough leaves at this point to do it. Can we use wood or something else? Some activation process to get some compost going without a whole lot of leaf. A leaf rich community. So anyway, I think some good news there. A little extra bonus by going out and seeing the governor at his office, and making some new friends, and welcoming everybody to Cornwall. So, compost, Ted?
No, I welcome to come out and have them take a look. We're ready. Let's move forward with this thing. I'd like it going. I mean, as soon as we can. So, come on out. We got a lot to show them. We're a lot than what we've been compared to, as you with our applications. They have no idea. I don't know if they even know where Cornwall really is. But let's put it on the map and let's get this thing forward to starting it. So.
Yes. So then I would make a motion that we continue our efforts to get our compost project going with the help of DEP.
I second.
Any discussion? Because the application is sort of in limbo now. They said if we don't do something, they're gonna our application, which
Yeah.
probably, so I think we're gonna,
That's what,
we're working on it. I'm not sure they wanna hear we're commissioner, but anyway, just that's how things happen sometimes. And I think it could be good. So I think we're reaffirming our for doing a local program, and we will work around through and with whoever we need to get this thing going, because the idea would be we have a compost operation there, and then we may also use part of the landfill for the solar thing. Have a real nice environmental demonstration project there at our former
That'd be a really
it-
amazing little location with
it
all the
would be. Yeah, I think
recycling,
it's-
solar and.
It's a hub of the town. A lot of other people say they wish they had a place as good. So again, if we can do the solar on top, which apparently there's whole new technologies of how because you can't dig into the thing, but they have weighted racking systems to keep, so you can do it also on a curve. So there's all sorts of little things on that, and we look forward to that.
Sounds great, yeah.
Yeah, so things will hopefully blossom down at the transfer station in the spring. So more discussion on the compost initiative. All in favor? Aye. We did also at the Council of Governments, I guess, because Jane was monitoring that conversation while we were all hobnobbing at Mohawk. She was doing the real work, and they did say that I guess Kent has instituted a pay-as-you-throw program, which a lot of people that have studied municipal solid waste say this is the only way to really put a dent in the amount of garbage that gets generated by your town, is to accept garbage, municipal solid waste in bags that are paid by the customers. So again, we don't charge for bags right now, but by putting some sort of financial incentive, places that have tried this have seen their pay increase and their solid waste amount go down. Now, again, we to have a big success, have a really low recycling rate. So we have a high recycling rate already, so the pickings may be slimmer, but as we have resident expert here, Ted, do you still feel there's a lot of either recyclable stuff or waste, food waste in our waste stream? I mean, we'll do our best to take the food waste out, but do you have any, I mean, we're gonna gather information if there's another town that's doing something successfully, because that's part of our whole deal, is to try to drop the tonnage that we're shipping out of here that are going.
Yeah. There's still a lot of room for us to do better, meaning as a community to do better when we're using the transfer station. Will and I see it every day. Our big nemesis, as before, is big black bags. We know what's in the black bags, folks. So just do us a favor, because I will call you out on it. You know, put in there, hey, I want to have a little chit chat with you on the side. They know it. A lot of them know it. And the repeat offenders, you know, I'm a little hard. That's okay. I can't do anything about it, but I try to educate them. And I think the more education we put out there, the better. I think the green bags definitely cut down on stuff that's going in our MSW that doesn't need to belong there. But will that up our solid waste? You know, yeah, it will, because we'll be catching some of that coming out. But on the other hand, if we get this composting thing going, Will and I both extremely are excited about, I think that'll help us in the long run to reduce a lot of that stuff going in there. So I think for both ways, I think it's a win-win. I'm not sure how that would be paid. It'd be more work on us too, as two people that work down there. Some days are very stressful, other days aren't. So, you know, but I think for in all, it's an education process. We know what's in the black bag, so don't try to put it over on us. We have ears, you know, we have eyes, we know what's going on. But, you know, is there wiggle room? Yeah, there's a lot of wiggle room there where we can do better.
I wonder too, if some of these, as you throw places, can they have clear bags? I mean, the whole point is you can only go into your transfer station designated bag. Now, whether it's black, blue, or clear, obviously if it's clear, there's less hiding in clear bag.
Yeah, it's the size too. You need to, you know, a lot of these black bags are contractor bags. They're 9mm plastic, which we know does not biodegrade. I don't care how long you put them in, they're not going to biodegrade. And the thing is, you can put a lot more stuff in them without them breaking. These green bags like Kent uses, they're a smaller, and obviously you can see through them, and they can't hold pieces of wood, pieces of concrete, pieces of metal that we've been pulling out that we see out of these black bags. So is that a win for us? Yeah, that would be a win for us. But then again, you know, there's a cost associated with that. And of course, you know, there's monitoring that goes along with that. So we would have to have a discussion about all that, Gordon, at another time. But would it be a win-win? Yeah, I think it would be a win-win. But is that the way to go? Perhaps. But first, let's compost the issue,
Right.
and then we'll go.
Don't want to get ahead of ourselves too much, but it is interesting you know, there is other stuff out there too, that these green bags are those corn-based resin things.
Yeah.
That are biodegradable as opposed to black plastic, which we're all.
We have some information on those bags at the transfer station that I've squirreled away in one of my files for this compost program that we're trying to dig that out, and I can actually get some information on that from Kent. So I can find that file, and I have it stored away. So at some point maybe we could reiterate that discussion and we can go from there. But as for now, let's get the compost going, man. Let's rock and roll with that.
Yeah. Rock and roll. All right, you heard it. Okay, so anything else on compost MSW? All good? Wow, good. All right, so now we have public comments. Thank everybody for coming. Do I see any hands? Nancy, hello, you're muted. You're muted, Nancy.
Just a quick comment. I'm really excited to hear about the composting outcome. Good luck with that. That's really good. Good, need to hear that. And the other thing, I have a question to ask about the website seminar you're having on Sunday morning. Would I be able to watch a recording of it and learn how to traverse all that? Or at 11 o'clock on Sunday morning, I'm doing something else. So I hope it is a teachable moment by Zoom or by watching the recording, or would it be possible another time to hold another one at some other time, perhaps later in the day than 11 o'clock?
Yeah, that's great feedback, Nancy. We'll I think we will plan to do recorded via Zoom, and I'll talk to our chair to see if we can do about maybe doing a hybrid type of session as well. So
That we can have a recording to learn from.
Yep.
Thank you.
Great, and we'll put out a notice of all these meetings and everything. We packed a lot into this meeting, but we'll put out a newsletter and a thing for the website, including the website meeting. Things that are maybe be going on in the next week or so. So that's good. Any other comments? See, the press is here. Riley, any hard questions from the press?
Yes, I have a few tonight. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
First, on the solar project, I'm in the infancy of this, but on the location, you mentioned maybe CCS or maybe at the transfer station, right?
Yeah,
Do you have any idea within those if it were at CCS, where would it be?
well, the current thinking is that it would to the north of the playing field. Probably, the CCS site is a little. It's because you'd have to, if you put it in that spot, you would have to do a lot of land clearing to do that, and we do actually have solar panels at the school up on the bank. That area is kind of wet recently. So we're dealing with a moisture problem there. So it would probably be to the north of the school, because I mean, we're not gonna take up any of the plains, and the town did buy, I think it's 75 feet around the northern boundary of the school, probably 20 years ago. So there is some land there that could potentially work, but again, we have to take a look at that, because I think there's some wetness problems. The landfill is that it's already cleared, so granted it's surrounded by woods, but it's right up next to the woods. But there is some, you know, it's a large restricted use open spot.
Got it. Thank you for clarifying that. Now some simple questions here. Caroline DeFotis was appointed to the zoning board. How do you
Yeah.
spell her last name?
Let's see.
DAIFOTIS.
Thank you very much. And then on the new truck,
Use.
new used truck, right? That's what I want to ask. What is the year? And do you have the make and model?
It's approximately 10 years old. It's an international. It's similar to some of our trucks that we have currently. We're getting between 15 and 20 years out of most of our trucks.
2011.
2011, Jane has the answer.
Fantastic. 11 International.
Yeah,
Thank you. And what was the final cost on that?
$27,000.
Good deal. Thank you very much from me.
Okay. Yes, so we hope to see it. Hopefully we'll have a light winter, but we may see it out and about. Okay, thank you, Riley. Any other comments, questions? Okay, thank you all for attending. Thanks to the board. We're getting a lot of busy times here. Thank you, Jane, for keeping us organized. And we'll see you all soon at some meeting or other. All right, sounds good.